The borrowed center. Why your peace keeps disappearing and where it actually lives. Someone says something small. A shift in tone. A message that doesn't come back. A look that feels slightly different than before. And just like that, something inside you changes. Not all at once, but enough to feel it. Your attention narrows. Your thoughts begin to circle. The moment stays with you longer than it should. You tell yourself it's nothing. You try to move on, but something has already taken hold. And without realizing it, you have handed control of your inner world to something that exists entirely outside of it. Not because you chose to, because it felt automatic, natural, almost unavoidable. And if you slow down long enough to look at this honestly, you will notice something else. It isn't just this situation. It is a pattern. The same shift, in different forms, repeating itself. Different people, different moments, same internal reaction. And over time, quietly, without announcing itself, it begins to shape how you feel about yourself based on things that were never fully yours to control in the first place. Part 1. The ground that moves. Most people, when they sense this pattern, reach for the same explanation. I care too much. I need thicker skin. I just have to stop taking things personally. It sounds reasonable, almost comforting, because it suggests the problem is small, manageable, fixable, with a little adjustment. But if that were true, it would already be fixed. You have tried to detach. You have told yourself not to care. You have replayed moments, attempting to convince yourself they didn't matter. And yet when it happens again, the reaction doesn't ask permission. It just arrives, fast, automatic, familiar. This is the part most people miss. If something keeps repeating, despite your efforts to control it, it is not surface level. It is structural, built into the very way you interpret what happens around you. And structural things do not yield to willpower. They require something quieter and more honest. Understanding. When your inner state rises and falls based on someone else's behavior, it reveals something important. Your center is not where you think it is. It is not fully internal. It lives in reactions, in approval, in what is said or not said. And because of that, it keeps shifting. One moment you feel grounded, the next, uncertain. Not because something inside you changed, but because something outside did. You are trying to stand on something that moves. And no matter how carefully you balance, the ground keeps shifting beneath you. Part 2. Feeling versus being controlled. There is a distinction that changes everything once you understand it. The difference between feeling something and being controlled by it. Feeling is temporary. It moves through you. It rises and passes like weather. Control is different. It changes how you think, how you act, how you see yourself. And when that control comes from something outside of you, it creates a kind of instability that follows you everywhere. Not just in this relationship. Not just in this situation. Everywhere. The same pattern appears in different rooms, with different people, wearing different faces. This is why strength is so often misunderstood. People believe strength means shutting things down, becoming indifferent, not caring, building walls. But suppression does not remove the reaction. It hides it. And what is hidden builds pressure. It waits. And eventually it returns. Often stronger than before. The goal is not to feel less. The goal is to understand what your feelings are tied to. Because the real issue is not the intensity of the feeling. It is that your feelings are attached to things you do not control. And that attachment, that quiet, invisible dependency, is what gives those things power over you. And it begins not with force, but with a single small pause between the event and the meaning you. Part 4. The things we see in others. There is a layer to this that runs deeper still. You may have noticed that not everything affects you equally. Some comments pass through without leaving a trace. Others stay for hours, maybe days. One person's opinion feels almost weightless. Another's feels defining. The difference is not in the weight of the words. It is in what those words happen to touch inside you. Carl Jung observed something that still unsettles people when they truly consider it. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. What you react to most strongly is rarely just about what is happening in front of you. It is about what that moment activates. Something already present, already sensitive, already waiting to be disturbed. The traits that disturb you most in other people are often the ones you have spent the most energy negotiating within yourself. Not necessarily traits you express openly, but ones you learned early to suppress, reshape, or deny. Maybe confidence was once reframed as arrogance, so you learned to hold yourself back. Maybe needing support was seen as weakness, so you trained yourself to appear self-sufficient. Over time, those adjustments become identity. They shape your behavior, your self-image, the way you move through the world. But the original impulses do not disappear. They simply relocate. And from there they show up in the people around you, wearing the face of something that has nothing to do with you. Except it has everything to do with you. Part 5. The admiration that creates dependency. There is another layer one that arrives disguised as something positive. You connect with someone, and suddenly things feel easier, clearer, more organized. Their presence seems to stabilize something inside you that previously felt scattered. Their attention feels meaningful in a way that goes beyond ordinary recognition. It feels like being seen. And because it feels positive, it rarely gets questioned. But if you stay with that feeling long enough, something else becomes visible. The stability it creates is not entirely yours. It depends on their presence, their attention, their consistency. When they are there, you feel grounded. When they pull back even slightly, something shifts. The same sense of stability that felt so solid begins to weaken. Jung approached this with characteristic depth. What we often see in others, the qualities we feel drawn to, the ones that seem to complete something, are not only attributes of that person. They are reflections of potential within ourselves that we have not yet developed. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. What this means, plainly, the feeling of completion you experience in someone else's presence is not something they are giving you. It is something they are reflecting back. Something that already exists in you, but has not yet been claimed. And if you haven't built it internally, if the pathway runs only through them, then when they withdraw, it does not just feel like losing a person. It feels like losing access to a version of yourself you had only just started to meet. Part 6. The image and its fragility. There is one more layer, perhaps the most persistent. It does not arrive through the behavior of any specific person. It arrives even in silence, even in solitude. A quiet pressure, a background tension that sits beneath everything, a sense that you must maintain something. Not for any one person, for the world in general. A version of yourself that feels acceptable, competent, composed. A version that was not chosen freely but shaped over time by what was rewarded and what was discouraged. Certain behaviors brought approval, so they were reinforced. Others brought discomfort, so they were quietly removed. Over time, this process creates an internal blueprint. And because it works, because it leads to smoother interactions and more predictable outcomes, you begin to rely on it. Not just as a strategy, as identity. Seneca captured the weight of this. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. So much of the tension that comes from maintaining that image is not driven by actual threats, but by anticipated ones. By the possibility that something might disrupt the version of you that others have come to expect. And so you monitor, you adjust, you protect, carefully, constantly, often without even noticing. But here is the cost that rarely surfaces immediately. The more energy invested in maintaining a specific version of yourself, the more you lose connection with the parts that don't fit that image. The parts set aside because they didn't align with what was expected. Over time, a quiet internal distance forms. A sense that there is more of you than what is being expressed. But no clear pathway to what that more might be. Part 7. The space that changes everything. Marcus Aurelius returned to this again and again, not as philosophy, but as immediate practice. A reminder to come back to your own mind, especially in moments when everything feels like it is being pulled outward. Because when something happens, attention moves quickly. It goes straight to the event, to the person, to the situation. And in that movement, something small but essential gets missed. The moment where interpretation begins. The event is never just an event. It is the event plus the meaning your mind attached to it in the space of less than a second. And that meaning is not the event itself. It is something you created, quickly, quietly, without asking whether it was accurate. This is where the practice lives. Not in eliminating reaction, not in suppressing feeling, but in creating a small space between what happens and what you decide it means. That space does not need to be large. Even a breath, even a pause of 3 seconds. In that pause, the reaction does not disappear, but it loses its automatic authority. You are no longer completely inside it. You are also, slightly, watching it. And what is watched cannot fully control, closing where the center actually lives. Everything returns to this. Where is your center? Not where you believe it to be, not where you want it to be, but where it actually operates in the real, unguarded moments of your daily life. Every time your state shifts because of something external, the center has moved. It has been placed, quietly, in someone else's behavior, in someone else's attention, in the image others hold of you. And the work, the quiet, unglamorous, profound work, is to notice that movement and bring the center back. Not with force, not with self-criticism, with clarity. Over time, this changes something fundamental. Not whether you feel, but how much authority feelings are given. People's behavior still registers. Moments still land. Connections still matter. But none of it decides who you are anymore. Because the thing that was being decided out there was always something that belonged in here. The stability you were looking for was never in the world. It was always in how you relate to the world. And once that becomes clear, not as an idea, but as something you have actually lived, the world does not need to change for you to feel different. Because the center is finally where it was always meant to be. Inside you, quiet and unshakable, waiting to be recognized.